Welcome back. It's Sunday. I'm sleepy. Hang on a minute, why are we getting duplicate sound? No, bad. We do not like camera from the webcam. Anyway, it is Sunday. I am sleepy. I'm going to attempt to finish the Mulga. I've been doing a little bit of work on it off stream. As you can see, we've got the carapace fitted, we've got the wheels fitted. But I'm going to see if I can finish off the tail and hopefully the cannons. So just come on in, chill out. We'll build some models, we'll play some music and relax. And we might see some news from the Stream Awards, who knows. My Twitter feed has been garbage these past few days because I swear they must be messing around with the algorithm or something. Because my usual feed of VTubers and anime titty has been consistently interrupted with just other useless garbage. I mean, Twitter's a terrible website at the best of times, and I'm only on there to manage kind of VTuber-related things. But even then, it's gotten worse. So let's just switch out cameras for a quick second. Alright, now what do we need? That's for A, we don't need that one. We need G. We need G15, 16s, which is these two. Down here at the bottom. We also need number 8. So I have actually been enjoying the Mulga as a kit. It's a relatively simple and straightforward one. They do come as a dual pack, which is also nice. It means you can kind of build one and then save the other if you want something quick and dirty. What do we need? 8, and there's a lot of 8s. Excellent. And they're all the same. Because some of the larger kits can just be exhausting to build. I have the Gojulus in my storeroom, and that thing, like, it's the equivalent of like 3 boxes of a regular, like, medium-sized Zoid. Like, you can like, when you open it up, it comes in 3 separate boxes, and each one of those is like the same size as a shield, like a box. It's immense. Whoop. Almost losing all my sprue off the edge of the table. Alright, let's get these cleaned up. I don't know. I don't regret buying the Gojulus. I just regret not having the time to build it. Because I bought it, like, easily 4 or 5 years ago now. and it's kind of just been sitting in the cupboard gathering dust. Where's my file? It's under my sprues. That's where it is. Even during COVID, I didn't really have the time to kind of get to grips with it. It's the problem with being in the model hobby, whether it's Gunpla, whether it's Warhammer, whether it's, you know, historical scale modeling, whatever, model railways. You get to an age where you have plans, right? You get to like your early 20s where you're like, yeah, I'd love to do this, I'd love to build that, but you don't really have the money for it. And then you go out in the world and you get a job, and suddenly you have the money for it. And you're like, hell yeah, I'm going to buy all of the things. And you buy all the things, and then you realize, I have to work now. I don't have the time to sit down for 6 hours and build this. Which is the great tragedy. That, and also I've become a lot more discerning with my builds in terms of cleaning things up. Like, a lot of my old Gundam kits have a lot of like nub marks on them and flash and things like that I could have cleaned up when I was a teenager, but I didn't care. I was just like, no, build the robot. Get in the damn robot, Shinji. Alright, that's that cleaned up. And you can see my little pile of nubs that I've cut off. I found this thing on HobbyLink Japan, which was like a work table that's got like a perforated mesh, and the idea is that all those little things just fall through the mesh. I wasn't opposed to the idea, but I don't know if I really have space for it in my current workspace. Right, that need a little bit of a cleanup, I think. Okay, that looks good. Just is that need to pay attention to the microphone that's on the webcam. I think when I'm switching cameras, it's automatically reactivating, which I'm going to need to do something about, because I do not want to use that audio source. So then I'm going to have to go into my advanced audio, take it out of the stream audio, because I have quite a nice microphone that is far better than whatever webcam has. And I mean, it's not even a bad webcam. It's a decent, it's a Razer Keo, so. All right. So it looks pretty cleaned up. So this is our front by the looks of it. This needs to go in under here. I can get it to slot in. There we go. That's in by the looks of it. Okay, there's our component done. All right, what do we next? We need a 13 and 15. A so these will be our carapace plates, the tail section. Oh, that's a bit too steep of a cut. You must treat the god hands with respect, otherwise you will break them. So that one's 13, so that's going to go around that way. We'll go around the other way. So we need D17 and 16, B5H3. Let's get the H out of the way, because it should be a relatively simple part. It's just the ball joint. I won't need too much cleaning up either. Just need to make it smooth on the top of the ball so that it will rotate freely. Has it got a bias on it? Doesn't look like it. Alright, there we go. There's our ball joint in. Okay, D. What do we need? We need D 16 and 17. Okay, 17 goes over this side. There is a term for what I'm doing. It's called like kerning or something like that. I can't remember what the actual technical term for it is. But it's about like laying out your parts in a particular way so that you have ready access to them. I mean, the better way of doing it would be laying out all my sprues so that I knew exactly where they all were. But you essentially lay out all your parts kind of in an arrangement where you know where they're going to go when you actually make the assembly. So in this case, clean the nubs off. This is armor plate. Yeah, that's good, nice and clean. So we know that straight away it's just going to go straight onto here. Like that. And then the next one over here, we know will go straight on there as well. Yep, that looks good. Oh, I love this track. I think it's Skeletons in the Attic. Let me check. Yes. Skeletons in the attic. Dance with the dead. Because if I recall, it's a very similar starting riff to the Wraith, which is also on, I believe, the same album. Or is the Wraith on Magnetron 3? I can't remember. Either way, this is nice and clean. So which way does this go on? Like that? Looks like it. Because that's where the armor cut fits. What I might have to do is I might have to take this one off. Why don't you want to fit on right? Is that not seated together right? Hang on a minute. I'm gonna have to bring this up close to my face. This just does not want to fit over that peg. There we go. Got it in the end. Yeah, okay, note to self. The black armor plates go on first. So they fit around the bottom. Let's get that cleaned off. I do like it when companies do kits like this, because this isn't the original Mulga kit. This is the Mulga AA and Mulga Carrier dual kit. The other Mulga kit, which I do have and haven't built, gives you the OG Mulga, just the regular little caterpillar boy, and then the Mulga Cannonry unit, which is the OG Mulga fitted with a big stonking artillery piece. And I like it when model companies do kind of come up with these variants where they're, you know, the core kit is the same, but they, I don't know, make these interesting variations. Because it gives us variety while, I don't know, keeping things within a reasonable cost for the company. And it was one of the great things about Zoids, because the original Zoids, I guess you could say, product line was created by Takara Tomy in order to compete with, or rather, I guess you could say inspired by the market developed by Gunpla kits. And they used to have a line of what they called CP units, customized parts. And the idea was to allow you to kind of customize your own designs, I guess you could say. They had limited compatibility. Only some kits worked with certain kits. So, for instance, the Cannonry unit worked on the Mulga and I think the Heldergunner. There was the booster unit that worked on the shield, the Blade Liger, I think, and that was it. There's the twin sniper rifle that went on the Koenigwolf, which they've actually just re-released in the HMM line for, well, they're about to re-release it for a new Koenigwolf kit, which I missed out on the pre-orders for. So I'll have to wait until I can get that. But it's good that the HMM line, which is not Takara Tomy, it's licensed made by Kotobukiya. It's good that they've kind of kept that spirit of customization, I guess, as well as providing kind of kits of some of the OG custom variants. Because the example I was going to raise was the cannon tortoise. There was a CP kit for it, I think CP03, the heavy beam cannon. So I need number B5, which was basically just a big stonking energy cannon that mounted on the back of the cannon tortoise. But back in the day, Takara Tomy released a limited edition version of it called the Buster Tortoise in different colors, and with the cannon like bundled in. And so Kotobukiya did the same thing. They released the cannon tortoise and also the Buster Tortoise. And I have built the Buster Tortoise. It's sitting on my shelf next door. I don't know if I will build... I haven't built the cannon tortoise. I don't know if I will build it on stream. Just because the Buster Tortoise, the shell, was an absolute pain to get situated. Because some of the engineering on these kits, it's really quite good. It's just not quite as clean as some of the engineering on some of the Gundam kits. Some of the Gundam kits are absurdly good, which is kind of why I want to pick up the Moon Gundam. Because I've heard that it has a very good design in terms of articulation. That and the real grade God Gundam, just because Gundam G-Fighter is amazing and I wish they would make more kits for it. Like, give us some modern high grades of... Or actually, not even high grades. Fuck it. Give me some Gundam G-Fighter Master grades. Fuck it. Give me a Gundam G-Fighter Perfect grade. Give me a Tequila Gundam Perfect grade. Give me a Nether Gundam Perfect grade. I want a giant windmill. And while we're at it, give us another anime season of Gundam G-Fighter. That's actually another one I'm curious about. Will we get another anime season of Zoids? Because Zoids... What was it? Zoids Wild. I wasn't a huge fan of. I thought it was a little bit too childish. Zoids Wild Zero actually seemed to be better. Unfortunately, it's really hard to get the OG Japanese version in the West because Hasbro have the rights to Zoids and they do that annoying thing that Harmony Gold do, where they're like, in the West there is only... Yeah, in the West there is only the English version. There is no Japanese version. Alright, there's our completed tail segment. So we'll put that over there with our main head unit. Okay, it's time for a repeat. Okay, 11, 12, and 8. But yeah, they were doing the Zoids Senki or whatever it was called, which were the shorts for the upgrade kits. What was it called? The Geno Rex or whatever it is. No, Xeno Rex and the Liger. And those looked really good. Like the kits looked really good. The shorts looked really good. But I just kind of hoped you would get a full-length series. Because I've only had mixed feelings on the kits from Zoids Wild. Okay, I need 11 and 12. Because like the gimmicks are kind of okay, but a little bit boring. particularly in Zoids Wild, where they seem to be really shying away from ranged weaponry. The focus seems to be a lot more on melee weapons, whereas I like a good old beam cannon. And the other thing was they were going for that smaller scale, like exposed pilot rider, as opposed to the cockpit, which I've always preferred. And they went back to, well, it depends. They added ranged weaponry in Zoids Wild 0, and then Zoids Sinky, they seem to be going back to the enclosed cockpit. Haven't seen much coming from it since then, so hopefully the franchise isn't, well, I don't want to say dead, but in hibernation. Because it's done that a couple of times. It'll go to sleep and then it comes back. And it'll go to sleep again and then it comes back. Which is a tragedy because the kits are fantastic and some of the anime is pretty damn good as well. Like, I'm an absolute fiend for New Century Zero. The Liga Zero is an absolute G, and the setting was fantastic. And even with like the cut up English version, because I know they cut stuff from that, you can see the cuts where they've clearly taken out footage. I think it was mostly fan service. I haven't confirmed this, but I'm pretty sure it was mainly like guy walks in on girl in the shower sort of stuff. Okay, that'll be the front. But yeah, I kind of feel like with a decent budget, like give me a Zoids movie with like the Gundam Unicorn budget. I want some good animated fight scenes. Also, I'm starting to get rust on my god hands. I should probably give them the steel wool or something. But yeah, I haven't found any good mech anime to watch in a while. Although I should probably check out Dawn's Island, the Gundam movie that they released a little while ago, because it looks fantastic. But Gundam always does, because Gundam's got all the money. People have talked up Witch of Mercury. I'm not sure. I got burnt on Iron-Blooded Orphans. I didn't enjoy Iron-Blooded Orphans. I think it's mid. I know some people like it, but I don't know. I wasn't a fan of the designs. There's been a design trend since like Gundam 00 that I haven't really liked. Which is kind of, I guess you could say, making the designs more, I wouldn't say angular, but I don't know. I don't know how to describe it. Like more low profile. Having like really narrow waists and like really pointy feet. Whereas I much preferred like the designs from like Wing and Seed and like OG Gundam, where it's just got a bit more heft to it. Actually, I shouldn't put those together yet because I need to put this in. I'm gonna put my god hands. There we are. Because yeah, I like me some thick boys. That's why I didn't like most of the designs from Iron-Blooded Orphans. There's a few in there. I like the Gison when it gets rebuilt. For Tekkadan with the dead. Well, I'm a sucker for Desert Tan, so the Desert Tan, but the forearms and like just the really kind of heavy build to it, I like. And I like the white one that was done for the mobile game. It actually makes me mad that it was from a mobile game. I can't remember his name because they all have demon names. I like that one with the kind of the combat knives on the little extra extendo arms. But yeah, most of the iron-blooded orphan stuff I'm not a huge fan of. Particularly the Dainsleif railguns. I think those look stupid. And they get talked up way too much. It annoys the hell out of me whenever you talk about, like, because I mean, Gundam nerds are Gundam nerds. We will always like be like, oh no, this mech's stronger than that mech. This mech could beat Goku in a fight. And people always talk up the fucking Dainsleif railguns. Like, oh no, but Dainsleif railguns, they're so powerful. It's like, yeah, they're so powerful in IBO. Not compared to everything else. Like, when you consider that the OG Freedom Gundam has a pair of railguns on its hips, you're like, hey, maybe, just maybe, we're outclassed here. Alright. Front. Alright, H3. That's a G. And yeah, the Witcher Mercury designs haven't impressed me much either, but also, again, I haven't watched much of the show, so we'll see. I did, again, there are a few new designs. I don't want to be just entirely curmudgeonly and be like, no, none of the new ones are good. Because I like Thunderbolt. I think Thunderbolt's pretty good. The Atlas Gundam in that is a bit underdeveloped. I feel like it'll look better when they give it some upgrades. But like the Gundam full armor's good. There's a bunch of GM variants in that look great. Even a bunch of Xeon suits, and I'm not usually a huge Xeon suit fan. I like a couple of them, but there's a couple of those that look great. Again, Moon Gundam. The Moon Gundam looks absolutely fucking fantastic. And then there's that new, I think it's a Gundam Eclipse, the one that's set in the Seed universe. I'm intrigued by that one, by where they're going with that. I think the Eclipse itself in its flight mode looks fucking stupid, but 90% of mobile suits in flight modes look stupid, so hang on. I think I've jammed this. Yeah, I can only think of like one or two mobile suits that don't look fucking stupid in their flight mode. Even the wing doesn't look great, because you can still kind of see it's just a mech lying down with a shield stuck over its head. I think I've broken this. That's not good. Bugger. The great debate, should I get my pliers? Oh, no. There we go. Alright, I think I'll shave down the sides on this, because that was not a good fit. It'd also be much easier if my fingies were not sweating at the moment. because the gloss finish on this means that I cannot get a grip. Alright, that's ground down a bit that side. Let's see about this other one. Not the worst kit I've put together in terms of this, but the Koto Bukia kits do tend to be... They're a bit of a harder plastic. And sometimes the fit's a little bit finicky. The worst one I had with this was the Storm Sorter. Its joints are squeaky as hell. And I was really worried I was going to split some parts putting them together. So I have had that happen with cheaper kits. You try and put two parts together and the force of it just causes it to split right down the middle. Still isn't fitting together great. Let me just try widening out the mouth a little bit. Open the mouth. That's a good question. Where did I put my brush? I've misplaced my brushy. Oh no, it's right in front of me. Ain't that always the way? If you want to hide something, put it right in front of them. Yeah, let's see how that goes now. And trying to avoid jamming this. Really doesn't want to go, huh? There we go. Took a little bit of encouraging, but we got it. Ladies and gentlemen, we got him. Okay. D11 and 10. Those will go on first, because the Under Armour goes on first. But yeah, I have an unfortunate backlog of kits at the moment. I probably should get around. I have an Astray Blue frame, like one of the OG versions of the Astray Blue frame. Like it was like the Astray Blue frame D or whatever with the sword and the Gatling cannon that I got years ago at a con and I still haven't built. And I also have the so I have the titanium finish unicorn sitting up on my shelf, but I also have the full armor unicorn with all the thrusters and bells and whistles on it that I haven't built. And I also have a VF Valkyrie from Macross that I opened up, considered building, and then got too lazy because it had little pins and other things that needs to go in to facilitate the transformation. I don't know, I might build them on stream. And the problem is that I'm, again, notoriously slow, which you may have noticed. Because we're already 41 minutes in and we've gotten one tail section done. I'm not going to be winning any Gunpla Builders races anytime soon. I think... What did I cut out? I cut out 11. Yes, this is the correct side for it. No, it's not, because I'm holding the piece upside down. Come on. Ooh, you fiend. You utter fiend. I swear this stuff was easier when I was younger. I swear having smaller fingers meant that I could fit more of them into the same space. Because I swear sometimes with pushing apart on it, it's like I need to push with like this much force, but I can only fit like 2 fingers in to actually get there. And I swear when I was smaller, I could fit more in. Okay, there's that one. Number 10. Also, I will say for beginners, you don't need to buy a pair of God hands, but if you have the spare money to do so at some point in your modeling career, whoop, drop your shit, make an ass of yourself on camera. No, but definitely consider investing in some God hands because they just cut so smoothly. It genuinely saves me time when it comes to things like actually having to clean up parts. Especially if you're going to airbrush it afterwards. I'm not because I don't have the space for an airbrush and I'm also just too lazy. I've got too many kits. I mean, one day maybe I'll sit down and be like, you know what? I'm going to do a full custom paint job. 3D print some parts. Problem with that is it all takes time and I'm too easily distracted. Come on. There we go. Okay. Is our Under Armour on? I should move that into light so you can see it a little bit better. So one thing I need to sort out is this shadow. It comes from the overhead camera. There's no real way I can fix it because the overhead camera does have lights on it, but they don't really deal with it sufficiently. So I need to figure out some way of dealing with it, but I'm not sure how. I need like a diffuser or something. Alright, what arm plates do I need? I need 8 and 10. Number 8. Right, there we go. Number 10. Number 10. I don't know, the thing that annoys me the most about those like top 10 whatever countdown things is how frequently they're just wrong. Like, I don't necessarily mind compilation videos, but it just annoys the hell out of me when I, like, wind up watching something. Why did Stream Elements turn that into 2 posts instead of 1? What is this chat? Okay. I don't know why I turned it into two, why it split it into two messages. Anyway. But yeah, so many of those like top 10 compilations, like top 10 industrial disasters, and they just get things factually wrong. Especially when they show something completely normal, like this is a normal but dramatic looking event, and they're like, you know, incredibly dangerous. And it's like, yeah, some of this shit can be incredibly dangerous, but the thing you're showing right now is not. It's just a regular event. Just a regular part of the process. Before. Ah, Okay, I think I put the wrong one on the last thing. Need to get better at paying attention. Because I found that last time I put something together completely wrong and had to take it apart. Yep. So that part's done. I need to clean up this one and put it on here because I got it wrong. Pay attention to the parts you're cutting out, Ando. Don't want an IKEA table with a wonky leg. Okay. Didn't do a great job of cutting this one out, so I'm going to have to give it a little bit of cleaning up. It's the other one you should invest in if you have the money, Diamond Files. Contrary to how the name sounds, they're not ludicrously expensive. They're industrial diamonds, so... Because diamonds aren't actually worth as much as people think they are. Jewelers' diamonds, they do artificial scarcity and other shit to inflate the prices. Industrial diamonds are used in all sorts of stuff. But diamond files are really, really good because A, they cut well, but B, unlike regular files, they cut on the push and the draw stroke, which makes them more efficient. And people say, oh, you shouldn't cut on the push or the draw, depending on which way the file is for a regular steel file. That's not really true. It doesn't actually really matter too much, particularly soft material like plastic. But it's still a pain that you have to kind of think about it versus diamond file where it's just kind of, okay, be more efficient, forward and back will get you things. So why did that camera flicker then? Not too warm. Okay. Okay, there we go. It's one of our tail sections. Two of our tail sections. There's going to be arm plates that go on the bottom of those as well. All right, step 25. Yet another tail section. Oh. Note to self, stop donking the microphone. Actually, let's do a quick experiment. Let's switch cameras. See if that re-enables the... No, it didn't. Okay. Ah, they both have microphones. Interesting. Okay. So it didn't re-enable the microphone. I just forgot to mute both of them because they both have microphones. That was stupid of me. Okay. Back to step 25. What were the G's that we needed? We needed 14 and 13. Oh, that part's too thick. Okay, 14. Okay, 14. Okay, that'll do for now. Don't drop the thing. Stop dropping the thing, Ando. Right, let's clip off those bits. Now, some of you might be wondering, why is he clipping off the bits with the nubs attached and then clipping them off again? Why not just clip them off straight off the sprue? There's a good answer for that. It's that by doing the double cut method, you're reducing torsion on the part, which is one factor. Get my diamond file. The other thing is that by taking it off the sprue, you're removing obstructions so you can cut from a better angle and make sure that it's a smoother cut, which leaves less of a nub. Because most of the nub comes from stress on the plastic. And if you can cut from a better angle with a thinner cut, you'll be putting less stress on the plastic. It also, again, helps that I'm using a pair of God hands, because God hands are actually sharp and will cut the plastic, as opposed to a lot of clippers which really just work on pressure. Like, they kind of have an edge to them, but you'll hear it, like, when you cut, they make this, like, pop sound. And that's actually the plastic giving way, like it's the plastic snapping, as opposed to just being nicely cut. See, we get nice, clean cuts. Because, like, again, the whitening around this cut here on this piece of nub, that's from where the plastic's been stressed. But when I'm making a nice thin cut down here, very little marking on it. Let's clean off these side edges. Sometimes you can just use your thumbnail to get rid of mold lines. Otherwise, other times you might need to use a tool like a knife, or actually I prefer using, have it over here, this is a mold line scraper as manufactured by Games Workshop. There are other ones out there on the market, I believe. A lot of people talk shit about the mold line scraper. They go like, oh, just use a knife. I actually like the mold line scraper, A, because there's less chance of stabbing yourself, there's less chance of stabbing your model and like accidentally putting a gouge in it. And people go, oh, well, you know, you're gonna need to learn to use a knife anyway, so, you know, you should just learn to not be a fuckwit and learn to not stab yourself. But yeah, I think removing the risk is always the better choice. And I find the mold line scraper, it's got a good shape, it does the job. And also, people forget this certain particular factor, which is legality. So, back when I used to sell models, back in my ill-spent youth, in Australia, it's actually illegal to sell a knife to anyone under the age of 18. So it meant that anyone who came into the store and was like, yeah, I want to buy a knife, we'd be like, cool, show us your ID, kiddo. And they'd be like, oh, shit, I can't. I'm only 16, I can't buy a knife. But the mold line scraper, A, is safer, and B, it's not a knife. So if a kid came in the store and was like, hey, I want to clean up my models, sell me a hobby knife, I'd be like, nope, but I can sell you mold line scraper, and it will get you exactly the same results, more or less, without you getting in trouble or me getting in trouble, because I would have been the one getting in trouble, because it's the onus is on the salesperson. H3. I must have another H sprue. That's an F. Yeah, there's the other H sprue. Now let's see how well this one fits. So we were having some issues last time. Okay, that doesn't look too bad. But yeah, I find there's this funny attitude in the model making hobby, particularly scale modeling. And I think it comes from the fact that, like, for a lot of the time the hobby's been around, we've had to make do with shit that wasn't made for us. Like, particularly like tabletop wargaming, like Warhammer and stuff, it was always like, okay, we'll get some trees to make some scenery. They're model railroad trees. They're meant for model railroads, not for, you know, wargaming. Or, you know, we'll, you know, repurpose aquarium plants, or we'll, you know, get all sorts of other different tools, like nail polish shakers to shake up paint and things like that. Stuff that wasn't made for us. And so people sometimes get bitchy when a company actually is like, hey, let's make something specifically for a hobbyist. People go like, oh, I could have just made that myself. And it's like, well, yeah, you potentially could have, but that would have taken effort and time and other things that, like, if you happen to have coincidentally or through the hobby, yeah, great, but not everyone has that. Was it? Yeah, it was Real Game FX. So I own a couple of Real Game FX things. And they're well known. Well, I don't want to say well known, but their main products are, I guess you could say, scenery enhancers. They're things like they made a miniature fog machine. It's called the Fog Monster. I have one. It's actually pretty cool. Maybe one day I'll show it on stream with some terrain. And it makes water fog just using water. Doesn't need any other thing. It just makes fog and billows it out onto your table so you can have fog to play Dungeons and Dragons in. It does have some issues, mainly that it's essentially generating water vapor, so you can't use it with like paper tokens and stuff like that. But again, with plastic scenery and stuff like that, it looks great. D2. But the insides of it are actually pretty simple, and some of them are off-the-shelf components. And I did see some people complaining about it, going, well, hey, I could have just made this thing myself with an ultrasonic vaporizer, which is what it uses. And it's like, well, yeah, you probably could have. But, you would have needed to have made a housing for it and, done all the wiring and all the other stuff for it, which, again, you could do. It's just a bit of a pain in the ass. And someone actually did if I remember correctly, they did a video on this of like, hey, can I build my own one for cheaper? And the answer they got to was like, yeah, I can, but it's like basically what I just said. It's a pain to do, and getting it to function reliably takes a bunch of tinkering, which is what the Fog Monster has already done. They've done the work so that you don't have to. Which is an attitude that I'm very fond of, having worked in engineering, so. Because as far as I'm concerned, that was the start of automation engineering. It was when, back in the day, some pharaoh, some chieftain said, build me a big monument. And some guy looked at a rock and said, bugger that, I don't want to move that, make it move itself. It's taken us 4,000 years, but we're finally at it. We have tamed the rocks. We've turned the silicon into computer chips. We make it do the thing for us. But yeah, a tool is a tool. Use it if you want to, don't use it if you want to, but all it's there for is to enhance our ability to do work. If it's not made for the task, sure, you can make it work. But if it is made for the task, then why not utilize it? Come on. Once again, I'm engaged with a battle of getting these side plates to fit on. Come on. Something about this peg that doesn't want to fit together. Right. Come on. build models, they said. It's a soothing and relaxing hobby, they said. Not at all frustrating. I'm being confounded by geometry. Also, I suspect this may be ever so slightly miscast. Which does happen. It's not as bad. I've had worse. My Command Wolf, the first HMM Zoid I ever actually got, had a miscast PVC part. So in some kits, they use PVC in the joints to give them a bit more grip. And this one in particular, was the internal of it was completely miscast. It would not fit in the socket, so I had to do some creative cleaning with the part and kind of glue it in place instead of actually using the two little flanges to hold it in the socket. Oh, you son of a bitch. I know some other people have been doing some model building streams. I think I saw Red Claw was doing a Zoid's kit the other day. He was doing the Berserk Führer, which pretty dope. Again, I have that kit, haven't built it. It's a Chad though. I kind of want the Supernova one as well. So Supernova are another company that make you see it's a non-licensed Zoids kits. And apparently they're actually a decent quality as well. It's the other one I wanted to pick up was the non-official Gundam, the Hunting Falcon or whatever it's called. Because it has the really cool spear cross funnel unit design. And a really cool paint scheme too. It's the purple and green. I don't know, third party stuff. It's a bit of a gamble sometimes, but some of it's just such good quality. Well, depends. The designs are great, the quality sometimes can be variable. Learned that the hard way with some Transformers stuff. Which is another one I might build on stream as well. I have some Flame Toys Transformer kits. I actually have... will I bring him down off the shelf? Maybe. It's a bit tall. I have the Flame Toys Devastator sitting up on my shelf. Oh, you son of a bitch. Oh, wait, no, fuck. Come on, go on. Oh, my fingers are so sweaty. My fingers are sweaty and existence is pain. Alright, let's give that a rest for a minute. Try and dry my hands off, get some other parts out. The humidity has been insane this past year. I feel like it's a Japanese summer, not an Australian one. Okay, 2 and 3. Okay, let's get that cleaned up. All right, now we've got to get this one on. Let's try again. I feel like I might have to grab my vise. I can remember where I put it. Ah, there we go. Yes, you son of a bitch. Got it. Victory is mine. For that, I shall reward myself. That redeem seemed too short. I need to fix that. This one's not quite sitting together right. Come on. I don't know why there's a big theme split up the back. Come on. There we go. That looks a little bit nicer, I guess. You can notice on the top there's a big seam gap. I don't normally go to the bother of doing gap filling. More advanced people do. What they do is they'll take like this sort of stuff, the excess sprue, they mix it in with polystyrene cement and melt it down, and they'll run it through the gaps and then sand it down to basically perfectly fill the gaps. But I actually don't mind it. I feel like having the gaps in between looks like how it should. Like it looks like this is how the armor plates actually go together on the real thing, as opposed to, you know, making it perfectly smooth. What do I need next? I need B7. No, I don't. I need B6. I almost gadzooks to myself again by reading too far ahead in the manual. probably cross that part of my resume off. Can follow instructions. Clearly, I cannot. That's going to need some cleaning. Let's give that a polish. It's a little bit more. Yes, very good. Actually, that's a kit I'm tempted to get and build on stream, is the cup noodle one. They made a model kit of the classic white cup noodle with shrimp. You kidding? You telling me a shrimp cup this noodle? A little bit more on that. There we go. Yeah, it's more or less straight. Okay. Now we can go on to the last bit, the bit that I always forget. Okay. So G18 and 17. You may have noticed that the pieces that we've been putting together have been effectively identical, just smaller and smaller each time. That's because these will connect together and form like a tapering tail. That will be the back of our worm. Well, caterpillar really, but... Is it a caterpillar? I need to check. I need to count, because it doesn't have legs at the front. So this is the thing. So, people, this is a question I have asked some good friends of mine who are more expert than insects than I am. I know a bit, but I'm not an expert. But so traditionally, the definition of an insect, 6 legs. Actually, it's part of the definition. Hexapoda, 6 legs. All right, and so if you look at like beetle grubs, beetle larvae, they have 6 legs up the front. That's why beetle larvae, particularly the really big ones, the ones that make like rhinoceros beetles and stuff, they're big fat bastards who tend to live in like rotting wood, and they don't really move around very much because they haven't really got the leg strength to do so. But if you look at a caterpillar, well, caterpillars look like they have more than 6 legs. And that's because they kind of do and they kind of don't. So caterpillars have 6 like proper legs. And I'm pretty sure they're all mounted up the front. What they do though is they have like extra. They're not legs because they don't have the same structure, but they're basically extra growths out of part of their body that they use to grip onto stuff. So it's kind of like they use the legs up front to like pull themselves along, and then they like grab onto the tree with their like back butt grippers, I guess you could call them. Extend themselves out, reach around with their legs, grip on, pull the tail forward, grip on with the butt gripper, rinse and repeat. And the mulga here kind of doesn't really fit that pattern because it hasn't got legs at the front, it's got legs on the back. So I'm not really sure what it's supposed to be. Because there are quite a few things in this world that look like caterpillars and aren't. Great example, sawfly larvae, also known as spitfires. You'll usually see them in groups. They kind of form little carpets that wriggle around together. Again, they look like caterpillars, but they're not. They have a different head. They also turn into something completely different. Because they turn into a fly, a member of the Diptera, not the Lepidoptera, which is butterflies. Diptera, of course, meaning 2 wings. Although flies actually don't have 2 wings. Flies have 4 wings. Most flying insects have 4. There are some exceptions to this. But Diptera, what they've actually done is one of their sets of wings have reduced dramatically down to what are called stirrups. And they use those for kind of like stabilization and stuff instead. So they have one pair of flight wings and then another tiny set that they use for like balancing and kind of gyroscopic stabilizing, I guess you could call it. You might be like, well, what about beetles? Beetles only have 2 sets of wings. Actually, they don't. Beetles have 4 wings. It's just that the hard, shiny shell that you see on a beetle, those are actually modified wings. Those are called elytra. So if you've ever played Minecraft and you've gotten the elytra that let you fly, yeah, those are beetle wing covers. Their first set of wings have hardened to protect their back wings. The only exception I need to check, but Dermatera, which is earwigs, they do some funky stuff where they fold up their wings real tight into little like parcels on their back. I need to check because I don't think they have full wing sets. I think they only have 2 wings. I need to check. I also need to check with the Odonata and stuff like that, the grasshoppers and the roaches. I'm pretty sure roaches have 4 wings. Pretty sure mantids do too. Alright, there's our component. What do I need next? I need D9. It's 3:30 in the afternoon. We've been going for an hour 30, which is not too bad. We're getting a fair bit done. But I also kind of feel like I should be. I've got that work guilt. I feel like I should be doing something else. And I'm aware of the chores I need to get done. They're on the list. I'll get them done. But it's just one of those things where it's one of those bad habits I'm trying to break. It's feeling like I should be doing something else. Because in the end, I wind up doing nothing and go, hey, where did my day go? I was neither productive nor at leisure. I just sat around feeling like I should have done something else. Which is why we're killing two birds with one stone. We're enjoying ourselves and we're streaming. And then we'll be getting some work done later. This doesn't feel like it's completely on, but we'll see. Why does this look like it doesn't fit? Like it clearly does. Let me... I guess. We'll see. This is one of the most important things to learn when building models, is when the vibes are off. Because usually your subconscious will tell you when you've made a mistake. Things will feel like they're not fitting together right. As they say, the vibes will feel off. Yeah, that one doesn't feel too bad. It passes the vibe check for now. I need the H to put that one in. Again, this one's not feeling too bad. Let me just put down my clippers. Yeah, okay, that one went in nice and easy. Armor plates. 9 and 11. Yes, 9 and 11, correct, good. I was a little bit worried. Okay. There's number 9. Okay, let's just clean up number 11 here. Okay, that looks good. Now we've got some ports in here. These are probably going to take something. I think it's got like spines or something that goes along the length. What's the line from Beast Wars? The absolute goat line from Dinobot. Tell my tale to those who ask. The good and the bad. And let me be judged accordingly. The rest is silence. Man, Dinobot, absolute Chad. That's why I was mad when they did the Cybertron series on Netflix. Not only did they not get Scott McNeil to voice him, they gave him a voice that sounds nothing like him. Cybertron series was really bad. It was animation was shoddy, storyline was garbage. The depiction of Optimus Prime was terrible. The only thing they did well was Megatron. They made Megatron an absolute Chad, which is fine because I like IDW Megatron, who's also an absolute Chad. But they made Megatron genuinely interesting. Like, he was like an honorable tyrant. Like, yeah, he was ruthless and, you know, did some horrible things, but he kind of had principles that he stuck to. Like, he'd make hard choices, but he'd look people in the eye when he was making them. Which is the sort of shit that, like, Prime should have been doing. Like, and again, like, Megatron was very much the villain of the series. Like, he made some abhorrent decisions, but at least had character whilst doing it. Optimus Prime made just fucking terrible decisions for stupid and illogical reasons. Basically doomed a good chunk of his planet to die for foolish reasons, not even matters of principle. Like, Nemesis Prime got like 3 minutes of screen time, way more interesting than Optimus. Which is a travesty because I like Optimus Prime is a good character, particularly when they have Peter Cullen voicing him. He brings pathos to the role. And I think the core principle that he voices Optimus under, the thing that he learned from his brother, of, you know, be a real hero, be strong enough to be gentle, I think is a great trait to embody in a character. That's why I think Transformers has lasted, because a lot of people just give it shit as like, oh, it's you know, it's just to sell toys. I'm like, well, of course. You know, this is capitalism. A lot of things are just to sell something, but when you have artists working on something, when you have actors and artists and creators, they can elevate it to be something a little bit better than what it was intended to be. That's why you get things like BTAS, Batman the Animated Series. Absolutely fantastic series. And again, designed just to, you know, sell Batman basically, but the creators made it into something better than what it could have been. All right, what have we got? G3, 2, and 1. This is the weird wheelie bit. Number uno. Okay, 3. Two. So how the hell do these go together? They form like a little wheelie thing. It's the thing I hate about Japanese models sometimes, that they don't show the details in the instructions very well. But if I just give me a second and zoom in on this, hopefully I can get that. I might need to zoom in a little bit more. Hopefully can focus. So, all right, zoom out a little bit. So, you'll notice, if I just get my file so I can point, this is like a triangular shape. It's wider at this side than it is at this side, and they want that to be facing a certain direction. And they kind of show that in the instructions, but not very well. All right, let's get this cleaned up. Actually, let's start with this one first. Just gonna need to bring this one away from the camera because I need to be able to look at it close up. Okay, let's get that bit cleaned up. I think that's as clean as I can make it without damaging any of the relevant parts. There's also two mold gates here that I might just try and see if I can file down. Okay, that's not looking too bad. I got it orientated right, looks like it. Get that. I still have no idea what this thing's actually doing. Actually, wait a second. Do these orientate into the armor plates a certain way? I think they do. Yes, they do. I'm stupid and the instructions are stupid. Get a tool under this to... actually stuff it. I don't know why sometimes they bother with a certain level of detail on these things when it's going to be covered by an armor plate anyway, but... like, I can understand it in a scenario like the, what's it called? The True Grade RX-75 Gundam or whatever, where it's all the armor plates are removable or openable and it reveals the skeleton underneath and stuff like that. That's fair. But in cases like this where you're never not going to build this section, okay, I'm going to leave that one off because what I actually have to do next, A4, is attach two armor plates together. So allow me to explain. So what I have to do next is attach these armor plates. If you look closely, it's got 4 co-locating holes. If you can notice on here, it's got 4 holes around the perimeter. So if I don't get these lined up on this thing just right, it'll be a real pain. However, if I mount these directly to this, it'll be much easier. Because then I can align these, the larger bits. So this is why sometimes it's not good to just follow the instructions. Sometimes you do have to think about what you're doing. Okay. Yeah, that would have been a way smarter build order. I do feel like this with certain kits, where I'm like, they wrote these instructions based on the engineering drawings. They would have been better off writing the instructions after someone had actually put one together once. Just smooth that out. Right, almost got it. Just a little burr on this edge that I want to get. Yeah, there we go. That's nice. Actually, one little extra bit. Call me a perfectionist. Here we go. Okay, that'll fit on nicely, and then this will go together nice and easy. Yeah, this is a way better way to do it. Instead of having to co-locate 4 holes on 2 different pieces, well, actually on 4 different pieces, I only just have to co-locate the center point. Yep, good. There's nothing else I need to put in here. That's good. Aha. So if you look closely, you might not be able to see it. But right where my finger is, there's a little bit of miscast. See if I can get the focus right. So yep, there we go. So there's a little pale patch. It's a little bit of miscast on this peg. So if I don't clean that off, it's going to make it a little bit harder to fit together. A good catch, Ando. Because that sort of stuff can make the actual assembly just that little bit more painful. There we go, that goes together, nice. Nice. What's next? It's all the tail stuff. Ah, that's where our last little bits of green glowy shit go. Ah, that's also where our other towing hitch goes. So you'll notice on the head, right here, there's a towing loop. Which means in theory you could hang this from a crane or something. Which is a little detail that I appreciate. Let's put that on now, why don't we? So I had noticed that on the sprue there was a second one, and I was like, where the hell is that going to go? Because usually towing eyes, you have like one at front and back, or one at each corner or something. Okay, do not drop this. Do not drop this, Mr. Sweaty Fingers. Okay, that'll do, clean enough. So that... It's not a great design because I had to stretch this thing, which meant... So basically I had to stretch this to fit it through the hole here, which basically meant that if there was a flaw in the plastic up here, it could have split. But thankfully it didn't. But still, that's not a great design, Koto. The version on the head is better because it actually goes under a loop that then sits over it. Oh, shit. Alright, I just dropped a sprue. I'll have to fish that out later. A12. So that's on a bracket that goes on the underside. It's kind of interesting aesthetic because there's a little bit of rivet detailing on this thing, but it's mostly pretty smooth. And then you've got this, which has like hex bolts on it. So this just locks in under here. I suspect something's going to fit onto that shaft. Okay, A7. Snip. Snip. Okay, does this have to go on first? No, it doesn't. So at 7 can just go straight on. To get that toe hitch out of the way. Ah. Okay, what's our glowy bit that needs to go on? Gonna need to move that sprue because I can feel it on my foot. That's annoying me. This should be good enough. Curious what this green glowy thing at the back is supposed to be. Is it a convoy marker or something? Lets others in the front of the convoy know where it is? Dunno. Okay, A16. Ooh, almost dropped that one. Good catch. Well done, Ando, for not bringing shame to yourself. That's the other thing I'm thinking about picking up is just like a little dish or something that I can keep here, because I have a terrible habit of dropping shit while I'm building kits. And I hate having to go ratting around on the floor, particularly under my desk, for dropped components. Alright, that should be tidied up. And good to go on the tail. How does it go? So assuming that is forwards, that goes... like this. Yes, by the looks of it. Tail's actually pointing down a little bit. Need to adjust the ball mount. There we go. Okay, this is the back end of our tail. So now we're on actually putting the tail together. So I think first stop will be just getting the various sections together. This is our front one. Oh, is it? Yes, this is our front one. Yes, front. This is the next section. This is the next one after that. Because they are all slightly smaller. Is that socket in properly? Yep. Sometimes when they're a little bit out, they'll just pop out on their own. Last one. And then the tip. Just get this a little bit closer so I can get a good angle on it. So one thing I hate about these sorts of kits with a progressive ball joint is getting them all to stick together. It's the same with the heat rod on the Gundam Epion. I have one of the Epion kits. Pick up one sprue, drop another. Great job, Ando. Hang on. Give me uno momento. I'll just make a mess and clean everything up. Great. Run over my headphone cable as well. Alright, I'm going to mute while I go and get this. Okay, we're back. Success. We've fixed the things that needed to be fixed. So, holy crap, my bitrate. What has happened to my bitrate? Has it just fallen off a cliff? No, okay, it seems to be doing much better now. Why must Twitch lie to me like this? Okay, where are we? Right, we are up to... Okay, A6, that last bit. So it's a good thing I actually picked up that sprue that I dropped. And that's also what our last... Ah, no, not that. It's from an E sprue. Okay. Okay, there is a last glowy bit, but I don't know where it goes. Anyway. Okay, let's clean this up. It's going to need some filing. Oof, yeah, that's not great. Clip that off first before I file it some more. It's still not great. Ando, what are you doing? Because on model kits like this, like with Warhammer, it's different. With stuff like this, I prefer not to be hogging off large amounts of material with my files. Because you're more likely to damage the finish. And because you're not painting them. Well, I'm not painting them at least. So it's kind of the surface finish is what you get. All right, so this mounts on up here. Is there any... Aha, no, it mounts on here. I think. Correct. It mounts over this axle here. And there's a bit from an E-sprue. It's F... Oop. Banger alert. Quality track. I find Coheed and Cambria can be a bit variable, but overall, the two most recent albums have been relatively solid. This is, in my opinion, the best track off it. Okay. Okay, that's a little exhaust fan or whatever done. F. F for failure. Alright. So most of the parts we need to run this F sprue. Clunk. So I need these guys, little armor plates. These are the belly armor plates. They go underneath this. That was what I mentioned earlier about saying that there would be armor plates going under it. That's one. Two. And there's another F sprue somewhere that I'll have to dig out. Okay, F1. Okay, these guys are literally just circles. Alright, squircles, squircles, squircles. At risk of sounding like a grumpy old man, this is what modern music lacks. And this is what this song has that I like, is guitars. Just hear that little guitar solo in the background. Modern music needs that. It's like pop music peaked in the 80s. With stuff like Self-Control and, you know, Pat Benatar and stuff like that. Like, you can have your poppy vocalist and you can have your guitars too. Problem is modern music producers, modern music labels, they just want the vocalists because they don't want to pay for anyone else. So you wind up with a bunch of computerized drum tracks and all that. And, like, don't get me wrong, the people producing this stuff, like the audio engineers and all that stuff, they're talented people, but it's just, I don't know. That's why I like J-pop a lot. City pop. Because you still get some actual instruments in there. There we go. So there's all our little dots. Let's clean these guys up. Clean this off. We're not going to matter too much because it's on the bottom. Yeah, I don't really know what the point of those are on the bottom because it's kind of like, it's just there. It doesn't really add much to it, but let's clean this one up a little bit more. Need a little bit of a square on up. Okay, where's my second F sprue? Okay, that's O. I'm going to need that for the AA guns. That's also O. I'm going to need that for the AA guns. Here it is. Alright, let's do a little squircles. Oh yes, Venger. Also a banger. In my opinion, probably Perturbator's best song. It's kind of a shame that, as far as I'm aware, that the Twitch TOS prohibits it, but I'd love to run like a radio show on Twitch. I don't know, just play music that other content creators submit. Be like, hey, I got a new track, I want to show it off. Be like, cool. I think the only problem with that is I'd have to divorce myself from it a little bit, because me personally, I'm very picky with my music. I know what I like, and I like what I like. That's why when there's a lot of fuss about music that another VTuber has made, I'm usually indifferent. There's a couple of songs that I do like, but like, you know, I know there's a whole fuss over whether or not people liked, you know, certain albums released by people or whatever. And I'm just happy to see people doing what they like and succeeding. but overall am indifferent to it. We almost got our last little squircle done. We do if I can just line up this peg. Come on. Of course, in the last one, my hand-eye coordination goes completely out the window. Whoop, no you don't. Almost got away from me on camera. There we go. It's always the last one that wants to go rogue. It's looking pretty good. Okay, let's get the last couple of armor plates, and we only need 2. We don't need all of them. I don't think. Ah, sleepy. Ooh. Love this song. Okay, so we've almost got these cleaned up. That's a little bit rough. Again, these are on the underside, so I'm not really fussing too much because you'll never see them. Also a banger, These Days by Health. Health are easily one of my favorite bands. It's interesting. I found them entirely because of Cyberpunk. They do the song that plays when you get one of the endings for the what's his called? How am I blanking on his name right now? Delamain, the taxi. When you complete one of his quests, depending on the ending you choose, plays a song called Major Crimes, which Health wrote for the game. I'm actually a little bit surprised because they wrote another song as well called Cyberpunk 2020, which I'm really surprised was not included in the soundtrack for the game or in the soundtrack for the anime. Everyone talks about I Want to Stay at Your House, which is an okay track, but Major Crimes surpasses it easily. Absolute fucking banger of a track. So I looked into the band from there and found more of their stuff, but I'm a bit odd in that I like their newer stuff rather than their older stuff. Their old stuff's a little bit more psychedelic, whereas their current stuff from about Slaves of Fear onwards has been more heavy dark industrial, which is more my vibe. Oh yeah, speaking of vibes, so I submitted my my design for another VTubers. They were doing a tier list. Who was it? Let me just check my notifications. Who was it? It was Cavalieri. So they were doing a tier list of like where they thought VTubers would fit in at school. And I submitted mine. I was like, you'll either be entirely accurate or totally off base. And their assessment was teacher, which I kind of had a bit of a laugh at. Because the last thing I want to be in a world is a teacher. Like, I spent 13 years at school, got out, and was like, no, I'm not going back. I don't want to be a teacher. I do not want to go back to that hell. But, like, the accurate prescription for when I was in high school would have been geek. But I feel like, given the benefit of time and wisdom, yeah, teacher fits. So I'm willing to accept that. But it was fun, and people seemed to like the design, which was nice. People going nuts for the feet, which was concerning. Well, expected, but concerning. I know what you degenerates are like. To quote that one Azure Lane video, we have so many degenerates here. It's incredible. Begone fly. I thought I said begone. Come on. I feel like maybe I should have put these on before I put the belly plates on, because they're actually impacting my ability to hold it. Because they only go on with a single peg, I'm worried I'm going to snap them. Yeah, these little bits I'm putting on now are interesting. They're colloquially called caps amongst Zoid fans. The original Zoid models were motorized in some fashion. They were either wind up or battery powered, depending on which version it was. There were some smaller unmotorized ones, but most of them were motorized. And in order to facilitate the movement, the joints were held together using these PVC caps, which are shaped like the things that I'm cleaning up at the moment. Now, these ones are made of hard plastic. They're not made of PVC like the original ones were, because the original ones were designed to be soft to allow the components to fit together snugly, but still have enough freedom of movement. And so they've kind of become a fixture of the Zoid's aesthetic, although in some of the newer designs they've become less prominent. Particularly the new Zoid's Wild designs that use kind of like an internal skeleton. So they don't really need these things to kind of hold everything together, but it's kind of part of the aesthetic. On we go. And the caps were also usually a contrasting color. Not always, but sometimes. So like for instance I'm pretty sure on the Shield Liger they're grey, maybe? But I know a bunch of them they're contrasting colors. So the Berserk Fuhrer, you can't really see them, and the Shield Liger, but because they have a black core frame, the caps on them are red. There was one that I remember had bright orange ones. Was it the Gunbluster? I think, yeah, it has bright orange ones that contrast with the blue armor. The Darkhorn had green to contrast with the black. Yeah, red was probably the most common cap color, but I can remember a couple that were. Right, that was it. The gun sniper, which I literally have sitting in a room next to me. It has orange caps to go with its blue-gray color scheme. Oh, this one's not cleaning up good. Come on, do it. Ah, screw it. I'll just point it away from where it can be seen. It's the other modeling trick. If you can't fix it, just make it less visible. That's why on one of the little Destiny Gundam I have, not the big high grade one, the little one that I have, the beam cannon, it's joined together by like a little rectangular bit with two holes in it, and it's split down the middle, and I had to glue it, so I can't actually unfold it anymore. Well, I can, I just have to be very careful with it, so I just don't bother. Just make sure to hide it. Okay. There's that bit under the tail that I thought was going to have something attached to it, but it doesn't actually seem like it does. Alright, now we're going to do this a little bit out of order, because the instructions say to put the guns on first. I think that's silly. I want some vanity shots of my worm. So if we can actually get it to go together, I should have actually put the, there we go. Huzzah! We got a wormy boy. Let me just get the feet aligned a little bit. Alright, let's get him on the vanity cam. We have the worm. We've got a wormy boy. Only took us 2 streams, but we got him there. So there's a little bit more that's going to need to go on it. So we got this. You can see the mounting points up here. So there's going to be 2 anti-aircraft cannons mounted on here. And there's also, you can probably see them around the sides of the head. There's like 2 little holes up at the top here. That's where we're going to be putting the Gatling cannons. So let's just switch back over. Actually, hang on a minute. When I switch that, why does it... Huh. Okay. The mysteries of OBS audio managing. All right. Now for the fun part. The guns. Well, I mean, that's a lie. It's all been fun so far. All right, where are we? We need 06 and 06. So let's clean those up, and then they go together inside the autocannons. Okay. Right, the autocannon goes on the inside by the looks of it. Or we just make duplicates of them and they flip, I think. I like the fluting on the barrels, very Soviet in style. Reminds me of the water-cooled 23mm on the Shilka. Speaking of Soviet design, that was one I loved in Full Metal Panic, was the Soviet designed arm slaves. Those had a really cool aesthetic to them. What they call the Savage, R95 Savage. It looked kind of like a frog, but at the same time, like, their rifle was just a giant AKS-74U. Okay, that looks good. So how do these slot in? Aha, they go in here. Is it? I think so. Aha, that bit fits over and that bit fits under. That's how you get it to fit. Would kindly go together, please. Actually, I might just file that back bit. Yeah, that should be more flush now. Also a banger track, Days of Thunder by the Midnight, who I've mentioned previously are a band of absolute chads, because they're like, hey, stream on Twitch with our music all you want. We don't care. You will not get in trouble for doing it. I'm like, absolute Chad behavior, absolute kings. Even though those of you who watch the VOD will not be hearing this, because I record, well, I broadcast the music audio track on a different strand to the stream audio, so the VOD doesn't get it. Because that way I don't get in trouble. Oh, scuffed that a little bit. That's fine. It'll survive. We'll just put that bit on the bottom side. I accidentally cut a little bit too close. Yeah, it's fine. It's on the bottom. You'll never see it. There was no evidence that I did anything wrong. No snitching. No snitching, chat. Okay. One gun. Okay. There's those. I need 2 more of the mounting brackets. Yeah, I strongly suspect this sprue is used on another kit as well. There's a lot of leftover parts. Is this kid with the silver mask? I think it is. No, Nemesis. I love the guitar in this track. See, this is what we need to do. We need to reject modernity and return to electric guitars and everything. Just go back to making like 1990s historicals like Sharp. Where it's the middle of the Napoleonic Wars and we still have, you know, electric guitar playing in the background when he's fighting the French. Also, I tell you what, the most difficult thing in my life at the moment, finding a damn rigger. They're like hen's teeth at the moment. Finding someone who's not booked for like 12 months. Because I would like to live, I would like to exist, I would like a model to actually be able to move. And yeah, I know in theory I can do it myself, but that's in theory. That would require me to actually sit down and figure it out. The problem with that is you need to redraw a lot of parts of the model, which I'm not confident in doing, and I don't want to fuck up Seralith's hard work. Because I want it to, I don't know. I want it to express myself, but at the same time be true to the effort that everyone's put into getting it to where it is along the way. That makes sense. Probably doesn't. What? Am I going crazy? Oh, donk. Am I going crazy? They're supposed to be... Ah, it fits into... Okay, it fits into this one, not the other one. So it turns out this slot on the back here fits completely flush. There's no corresponding slot on the other component, which I did not realize. Yeah, so those fit completely flush in there. Oop. Come on. There we go. Okay, there's our second set of anti-aircraft guns. Very good. All right. So that one's going to go up like that. That one's going to go up like that. So what do I need? I need N2 and N4. It's not the ones I need. Oh, don't tell me I'm missing some sprues. I think I might be. I might have to go and scrounge in the box. All right, well, in the meantime, what other fat parts can we mount? We can mount L2 and 3. 2, 3, and 6. Okay, this is the radars. Ah, interesting. They're not perfectly symmetrical. That's cool. I mean, I could make them perfectly symmetrical if I wanted to, but... So it's got the radar on one side and then like a different sensor on the other side. That's cool. Okay, let's clean that up. All right, let's get that together. Games over, love, murder, one. Okay, so that goes around that way. How does this even... Huh, this is kind of weird. Oh, it goes around like... Aha, I see, I see, I see. Okay, and then it mounts into this fork in here, so it can actually pivot slightly. That's kind of cool. These must go on another kit as well, because they've got this mounting port in here, but you fill that in. So I swear that must... Like, there must be something else that uses these twin autocannons. I just can't think of the life of me of what. Is that cleaned? I think it is. Yeah, that'll too, because that bit goes on the underside. Yeah, close enough. Okay, there's some other bits that need to go on. So there's O. Huh, so some of those O parts I thought were excess aren't actually excess. I feel like this thing's going to fall out a lot, this back strut. Because it's just a friction fit and it didn't feel particularly tight. We've been streaming for almost 3 hours. I think that's actually a new record. I think my longest previous one was like 2.5. Okay, let's clean these guys up. Needs to file the top. Okay, that one is more or less done. It just needs the mounting that goes underneath, which is on frame N, which again, I can't seem to find, and I'm wondering, have I misplaced it? Or otherwise... Okay. Brief tactical mute while I go find those missing sprues. Okay, I found it. I just need to check. Does it have any duplication with the other kit? So annoyingly, all the sprues for this came in one box, and I had to figure out what ones went to what. Huh. Ah. Hello, Aldi. Welcome in. I'm just looking for a part. N. Yeah, interesting. N is not on the parts list for this. Are you lying to me? No, I need the two of them, but they are not here. Okay. So I have the sprue for them, that's good. I just need to skip ahead and check, does the other one need... Okay, that's all normal. N12, 5, 6. N13, yep, that's that. Okay, so I don't think... If I do the carrier build, I don't think I do need those... Excellent, good. So we're not screwing ourselves for the next build. Excellent. So here we have it, sheet N, which is what I needed. Move some of this other stuff out of the way. Tidy up once again. Could make things a little bit organized. So what I 2 and 4. There's two. Okay, there's that one cleaned up. So these should just go together nice and easy. Sweet, and then that will mount under here. That's actually a very loose fit, but that's fine, it'll do. Cool, there's one gun done. Let's do the mount for the other one while we're here. Okay, I can get rid of the end sprue because I don't need that anymore, and I won't until I build the carrier. Yeah, that's really cheeky of them, because in the parts listing for it, it doesn't actually mention needing the end sprue, which is why I had all the sprues out that I did. I actually sat down and sorted which ones I needed and which ones I didn't, by both number and also color, because there are some duplicate ones that are different colors, because the carrier version is a dark gray. It's a black and dark gray. Well, it's more like a navy, but versus the desert tan and brown on the AA version. Okay, let's get that mounted up. So what are the other accessories that need to go on that? I'm going to need the top sight. Got parts for that right here. Okay, there's that guy. See, now that I've gotten up, I've moved my chair and I'm out of position. Oh, crap. You're kidding me. So I thought I'd drop this. I'd managed to somehow flick it around in between my fingers. So I'm looking on the ground going, where the hell is this? But I'd managed to gadzooks myself. I'm a magician. All right, let's move our chair a little bit. There we go. All right. That might need a little bit more cleaning, but it's fine for now. Oh, that one I've already done. Come on, Ando. Pull yourself together. That one. Let's get the inner facing in. Very good. Okay, next up is the search radar. I don't know why that camera keeps flickering every so often. Maybe it's just refresh, maybe it's too hot, I don't know. Heat check. It's not too bad. It's one of the reasons why I picked a document camera for the overhead camera, because apparently they last reasonably well without heat issues, whereas the webcam's not too bad either, but it's feeling a little bit warm. Let's just trim this down. Okay, that's nice and clean. And this should just lock into there like that. And that will clip over like that. So we've now got like a little search radar. That's kind of cool. And the last thing that needs to go on is the I'm not sure if it's a support bracket or if it's a hose for the cooling system. Because I strongly suspect a set of AA guns like this would be water cooled. All right, clean that up. Let's fit that in there. That should be all good for that. So the last things I need to do, get the guns on. I actually think putting the mounts on first would have been the easier option. Let's try that for a second. Let's try. There we go. Just had to fit it under that little hole in the carapace. Okay, so we have the guns mounted. Just got to do some last little bits and pieces, and our worm will be done. Our mulga will be complete. Okay, what I need are the head guns. So they're on the F sprues, aren't they? So F4s. F4 will go on the right-hand side. Well, no, the left. Left looking from the cockpit perspective. So I think we'll just finish off our mulga. That should bring us in at just a little bit over 3 hours. And then I will call it there and go and do some work. Prep some dinner. Clean the kitchen. Okay, let's just grab this guy. Mayhap. I should have put the head guns on first, but okay. Doesn't matter. So there's one done. That's the cool thing. If I wanted to, because I've got both sets of guns here, I've got like the cannons and then the rotary ones. So if I wanted to, I could mix this up. Give it the Gatling cannons on the top and then the standard one, the beam cannons underneath, or vice versa. But I think I'll just go with the Gatling cannons. Let's clean that up. Okay, it's half the head guns done. Oop. Yeah, the top mounting for the head guns isn't very secure. I don't like it. Again, the engineering on the Kotobukiya kits is a little bit iffy. There's some parts where it's really well done. There's other parts where you're like, this feels like a kludge. Ah, that explains it. I've done goofed once again. I'm an idiot. It's supposed to be... Yeah, okay. It's supposed to be 4s. Yep. Put the wrong gun on the wrong side. Because I'm an idiot. Okay, I think this will need a little bit more cleaning up. Okay. I think we're reaching the end. My voice is starting to go. That's okay, because we will finish off the last little bits, because it's these guns that need to go on, and then there's some tail bits, which I'm surprised didn't go on when we put the tail together, but I suspect that's because they vary on the different Mulga variants, so it means that they can just cut and paste the main instructions and then change out the diagram for the final assembly, which is what they do for a lot of these kits. Same with Gundam kits that use the same core frame and stuff like that. Which from a business logistics perspective is actually not a bad idea. You know, it's what we at work call R&D, rob and duplicate. If you've already made something once, why make it twice? Alright, so I might finish this off, and I think I'll go have a snacko. Okay, it's number 9. I think goes on like that. Yep. Those are probably going to fall off at some point, but that's okay. Okay, let's just clean these last bits off. We will have attained completion. Okay. Just put this last bit on. Oh, that's weird. Ah, it's because I've got it back to front. That's why it's weird. Okay. Let's switch around to the vanity cam. It's probably going to look way better. There we go. I wish I had one of those like little airbrushing turntables so I could give him the full 360, but there he goes. We did it. We built the Mulga. It only took us 2 streams and 5 hours. Oh yeah, there's another thing it does as well. The wheels fold out, or in this case, come off. Give me a second. Pointy. So again, this is the problem with the Kotobukiya kits. The joints are a little bit stiff on them. I'm sure with a bit of time, it'll break in and we'll get smoother action on it. But yes, the point I was making is you can set it up like this. You can give it little feetsies to set the guns up on. Anyway, that's the Mulga built. So I think we're gonna call it there. Thanks for dropping by, those of you who did. I'm gonna see if there's anyone worth raiding, even though I'm here on my lonesome. Do you want to raid Melody? No. Actually, I'm stupid. Who's up? Let's raid Callie. Yeah, let's... Ah. Is she finishing for tonight? Let's find out. Also, the annoyance of fucking pre-roll ads. These are the worst when it comes to raiding. Absolute pain when it comes to raiding. Yeah, let's go. Alright, well, thank you for dropping by on this 3 and a bit hour stream. I'm gonna go have food.